surprising. Fourth, politics. In this age of hyper-partisanship and polarization, there is an enormous demand to figure out how people can talk to each other, how we can persuade each other. But often when we get into debates, when we get into discussions, and we try to persuade someone of our point of view, we begin with our code of ethics. So if you're a liberal, you'll say you shouldn't like Donald Trump because his policies are cruel to Hispanics. Or if you're a conservative, you might say you shouldn't like Bernie Sanders because he's trying to turn us into Denmark. Now, on its face, these statements are perfectly genuine and sincere, but they fail immediately as articles of persuasion, because if you're a conservative who supports Trump, you probably like those policies that are discriminatory. And if you are the liberal supporting Bernie Sanders, you kind of want to nudge the US toward Denmark. But imagine if instead we invert the process and we begin with the code of ethics of the person that we're talking about. We piggyback off of their familiarities. So if you're talking to someone as a liberal, and you're talking to someone who supports Donald Trump, you might say, one of the things that I've always respected about the Republican Party is their emphasis on patriotism, putting country over self, and seeking service. Help me think through times in Donald Trump's business career. He's been a paragon of these values. Now, you might not create a Bernie Sanders supporter on the spot. You might be slapped for insouciance. But you're going to get a lot farther following this path than you are putting forth first principles that the person you're speaking to disagrees with. The model that I've just proposed is called the moral foundations theory. And it says essentially that it's always more beneficial when debating with somebody else to begin with their first principles, to begin with their code of ethics, and then show how slow walking those code of ethics toward the center might make their position leak into your position. All debate involves a form of ideological advertising, and in both polemics and in products, to make it Maya, make it familiar. The last story I want to tell takes us back to Raymond Loewy, and it takes us back to his last assignment as an industrial designer. Raymond Loewy was told to design the interior habitat for the first NASA space orbital, the most surprising and unfamiliar and exotic environment you could possibly imagine a human being in deep space. And Loewy conducted a bunch of habitability studies, and he made some tweaks here and some tweaks there, but his most famous contribution to space history is that he cut a hole in the side of the NASA space orbital. He placed a sheet of glass there and created a viewing portal for Earth. Yes, that viewing portal that you have seen in all of those movies, that too is Raymond Loewy's innovation. And I cannot think of a more perfect illustration for Maya or a more beautiful inspiration to creators everywhere, because it says that a window to a new world can also show you home. Thank you.